strong advice. Just remember to always think twice. Don't think twice. She told my baby this three. She looked at me, then showed a photo. Baby cried, his eyes were like mine. Go and dance on the floor in the round, baby. People always told me, be careful what you do. Don't go around breaking young girls' hearts. Don't break no news. But she came and stood right by me. Just a smell of sweet perfume. I guess it happened much soon. She called me to her home. Hey, the pretty cheese, not my love. She just a girl who claims that I am the one. But the kid is not my son. She's just a girl, and that I am the one. Baby,
Hey, what's going on, everybody? If you want on mic, come on up. Oh, hey, Heather, how you doing?
Hey, Sean. Doing well. Love the song. Made me laugh out loud. Flashbacks.
Oh, I know, right? Oh,
Good
it's a good one,
choice.
though.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, I have a quick question before you get all into it. I can't be on long because I got to cook supper. But have you noticed, and you have another listener, now there's a listen anonymously on Spaces?
So I haven't seen that on the app. I'm aware you can do that on a website, though, like at just
Yeah.
x.com.
Nope, I'm only on my phone, and this just happened today. And I heard there was a lot of Twitter or X crap last night. I don't know, but the two spaces I've joined today, when I went to join them, it gave me the option to listen anonymously. I'd never seen that before. Just saying.
Yeah, no, on the app, that would be new to me. And I know Elon's on right now on a space talking about X, but obviously we're doing this. So Um, it wouldn't surprise me that they would want to do that though, because from the website, like from your laptop, or if you just go to, Safari or Chrome on your phone, you were able to listen anonymously without logging in or putting your profile into it. So I knew it
Oh,
was
I
just a
never, I
matter of
never
time.
noticed that.
Yeah, I knew it was a matter of time before the app went that way too. The thing is, though, is then you can't really participate. You can't throw emojis. You can't, ask for a mic. You can't speak. But if you just want to listen and you don't want anyone to see you, hey, whatever, that works.
Yeah, that makes sense. Interesting. All right, that was all I wanted to ask at the moment. Thanks for having me up. Cool space.
Absolutely, yeah. So, I will say that I think it's interesting with the anonymous thing, right? Uh, Twitter, I think Elon's always wanted it to be a source for information, whether you're logged in or not. And then he's been doing everything he can to find ways to let people at least have view only or listen only access to the app, so as not to disrupt us, but they still could get the information.
Gotcha. Thanks for the info.
See, Mag is out there flying around. We'll see if we can get him to land on his perch.
Hey, Matt.
Andrew's here.
There we go. What's up, Heather? What's up, Sean? Andrew, what's going on?
I'm following Andrew, but he's not following me. No offense taken, just saying.
Yeah, he's like that, you know. He's real selective. No, I'm just kidding. He's probably just getting around to it. Like I hit my follow back limit. Did you? I don't know if anybody was on last night, but oh my God, the app was like dropping you out, asking you to reconnect, making you go through all the beginning steps when you first start your account. It was nuts.
No, I didn't see that, but Heather brought up a interesting update to her app. Is that she was asked the two spaces she's entered today. She was asked if she wanted to join the space anonymously.
What?
Listen anonymously is at the bottom of the screen, and you slide it, to do so. I guess. I don't know. I mean, I
Yeah,
never considered
that's
that.
some three-letter organization stuff right there. Probably putting that. They probably said no. You need to put a feature on here so we can do this easier. Just give us access anonymous. I don't know. It just seems like a monitoring tactic to me to make it easier for agents to just not have to go through this separate thing and have all the features.
Well, thanks, Elon.
Well, right, Matt, but you've always had ways to be able to listen anonymous through a website, right? So now it's just in the app. So they're just making it easier. The FBI could just log in with their FBI account and then go anonymous.
Yeah, I mean, they probably sold it like this. So picture it like this, Elon. We need to be able to get around Twitter quick, fast, easy. Come on, man. You got to help us out.
Yeah,
We
help
pay all that money
help
for
us out.
Starlink.
We're incapable.
Yeah, this is just too hard, Elon. You got to make it easier on our agents. And it's funny because I used to joke with Sean because we would do a space and there would always be 15 to 22 replays within an hour, right? And we were like, oh, okay, yeah. So they sat around, they got the team together and they're reviewing or whatever. It was always the same number, and I don't know why. And then the other thing that's really weird that I noticed about the app, your notification bell, it'll only go up to 20, and it's always 20. I don't know why it always stops at a certain number. Like it doesn't go to it doesn't actually reflect how many people or notifications are there.
Oh, gosh, I've never had that many, Matt. You're special.
Well, I'm kind of a big deal. You're right. No, I'm just kidding, Heather.
No,
You know
no,
what? It's
you
so great
are.
to have.
You are. You look. You are one of the reasons why I am still on Twitter. One of the very first spaces I ever
Really?
listened to, ever joined organization. You didn't even remember that. I understand. It's all good. Thank you.
I didn't even remember. Yeah, I remember we were talking, and I was trying to explain to Heather because you got to understand. A lot of people they'll be like, "I never got an email back. I never this," and they just ask me all these questions, right? So a lot of the first response from magamission.org will go to your spam, and that is problematic. So what I did was last night I put in the notice when somebody joins, it says in big bold letters, "Please check your spam." First notice will most likely end up there or something. I can't remember what I said. But I had a lot of problems in the beginning because I didn't realize people were signing up and they were getting pissed off. They were like, I joined and you didn't even like you're trying to do what you're doing, like create a membership account, and the verification for the membership account goes to your spam. So that doesn't help anybody. They're like, well, I'm trying to sign up, it's not working.
Yeah, I remember also MAGA getting just DMs on Twitter like, "Hey, can you get a hold of this MAGA guy? Because I signed up, and now what?"
Yeah, it's like, what now? You didn't do anything. Like, big deal. Yeah, it's funny. It sucks. These are things you learn about what's going on with the website and stuff, and you don't know. I didn't realize that would be going to spam like that. But Heather, man, it's great. You know, it's a journey, and the thing is, you're on it, and we're becoming friends, and that's kind of the process. You know, it takes time to get to know people, and we have small rooms, the big rooms, but when we got the small rooms, it gives us a chance to learn more about each other. I didn't run a space yesterday, Sean. I'm sure you probably saw that. I just was too tied up with meetings and stuff, and it just wouldn't have served any purpose. I think it was a good break for both of us to kind of take a pause, and absence makes the heart grow fonder, buddy, and I missed you.
Oh, well, I missed running the space, but I will tell you that fundraiser that I went to, they raised boatloads and boatloads of cash. So congratulations to them. Hopefully, they can fund their mission of helping lonely senior citizens at all the senior communities around the Charlotte area for the next year, just off of that fundraiser alone.
Sean, you know what's really interesting is that everybody in politics is now, and I don't know if they always did this, but since we started MAGA Mission, and put this out there, now the language has shifted out in politics and everywhere. It's all about the mission. They keep citing that word, our mission. And, I'll talk to other organizations and they'll be like, it is a mission statement. It really is. It's a mission.
Oh, you're absolutely right, but it's definitely I've noticed a quick change in the nomenclature, right, of the lingo, so to speak, in this last 6 to 8 months. Very interesting. Good point. Well, I see Tessa, Mama, Andrew. How you doing tonight?
Doing good, guys. Heather, I gave you a follow back. I saw you were kind of a little bit distraught about the fact that I didn't follow you back. And Sean, I do follow people back, so I don't know what you're talking about. I know Paul had an issue with that, but Paul, I think that the unfollow bot might have got the best of that situation. MAGA, I'm glad to see you out there going to places. That's good, supporting the whole thing. That's awesome, and I always encourage people to go to the Trump rallies and stuff. It's a good time. It is kind of stressful. I'm not gonna lie. Especially in New Hampshire, where you have to park, at least where I had to park, I was like the last one to roll in there. You're like way down, and when you're just walking back to your car, you don't know. I don't know. These people are freaks around, man, especially in that area. But glad to see you out there. Good to talk to you guys.
Well, Andrew, I don't want Sean to get credit for talking smack because it was me. I was talking smack about you, but it was all in good fun and humor. I can tell you that at this rally, particularly, we were prepared. We were looking around, and I just was like, "Where's all the haters?" I was expecting it. I didn't even really think about it. It was weird. It was like, and then it dawned on me. I'm like, "There's no opposition here," and it was just all love, bro. And I'm telling you, it was like there was not one person going, "We hate Trump." Nothing. It was just all patriots. 100% nothing but patriots.
Yeah, in Durham, New Hampshire, it was different because it's 76% Democrat up there. It's college town, young kids, 20s, um, and there was some opposition. The pro-Palestinian, they weren't even Palestinian. They were spoon-fed like college kids, yuppie college kids sitting across the street using the Palestinian conflict as a masquerade for their right. They're protesting for rights for illegal aliens and rights for transgenders. That's what they're saying. And then they, Trump's a fascist, that whole spiel. But it was 80% all of that crap, and it was maybe 20% even any sort of like anti like genocide or war or anything like that. It's just crazy. But there was definitely anti Trump protesters around that area. But you're down. That was down in what, Nevada? That's where you were.
Yeah, and I talked to the security team and some other people. I talked to the Secret Service, and from what I understand, I think he said they're heading to Iowa. Either he was going back for arrest or that's their next stop.
Well, you can go on the Trump campaign website, and they list all the events that they do on that site. So, I mean, I'm sure people have privy information somewhere. I mean, I don't, but so if you go and just pay attention to where he's going to hold remarks, it usually says it on there, which is nice, and you can figure it out, and it tells you like the location and the arena and stuff. And then I've gone to a few of these now. Other than his indictments and stuff, actually like rallies and stuff. The first actual rally atmosphere. Well, I went to those protests in D.C. like J6 and December 12th, but I'm talking about like a rally structure where you go to arena or some sort of like something like that. Was Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. That was the first rally that he held after he got raided by the FBI, and I can't remember the name of the arena down there, but it held 12,000 people and it was packed, and that was cool because people were like doing the wave around the whole arena, and it was a big venue. And then let's see, the only other I went up to Windham, New Hampshire. That was a high school gymnasium. That was over the summer, and then like we were just talking about Durham, New Hampshire, which was a different setting completely. It was larger than the high school because it was the Whitmore Center, the University of New Hampshire. Um, it held 6,500 people. There was a backdrop behind the stage, so which is nice because strategically you get an arena, you try to guess how many people are coming by registrations and whatnot, and you can adjust that stage back and forth, to accommodate either full bore 6,500, or in this case, I think it was probably around 5,000, but it was still packed, and it was awesome. It's more than Nikki Haley can get. It's more than anyone can get. So, yeah, it good times. It's all good times, and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Yeah, dude, Andrew, I don't know how close you got to Trump, but I was literally 30 feet in front of him, maybe, probably no more than 30 feet. So it was very surreal, and I could see like every detail, of his expression, and it's just different than you see stuff on TV because they zoom in, but like when you're there, it's just different. There's so much energy that you kind of get exhausted by the time he comes out because we're just so excited. It's like da da da, you're built up, and then he comes out, and all that energy kind of just it's there, but it was just very surreal to have him standing there instead of seeing him on TV, to have him there in like person. It's a completely different experience, and there were moments when I could tell he was holding back, emotion, and he's sincere, right? You could see it from that perspective rather than on camera.
Yeah, I've never gotten up close to him like that. In Wilkes-Barre, we were on the edge of the arena on the top floor. The high school venue was pretty cool. That was pretty cool because it was small. Wyndham High School. I mean, could you imagine going to high school where on the weekends Trump has a rally there? I mean, it's such a stark difference from where I am here in Massachusetts. Like, I would love that if my kids were going to high school somewhere like that. But it was nice because there was only, let's say, I think about 2,000 people fit in there. So you can imagine it's a normal high school gymnasium. It's not huge. It's not, this school wasn't a massive school. It was just a normal gymnasium, but it was cool. And you're really up front. They didn't have big screens and all this stuff, but that's cool. I'm glad you got to get up close to him and see the what he's all about. what else do we have? We don't have too much other stuff to go with here. And the Colorado stuff that they're doing, the rest of it, watching Joe Biden fumble around on stage, it's kind of demoralizing. It's to depress you, but we're not depressed, and it's good to hang out with people, especially at venues like that. I remember in Wyndham, New Hampshire, when you're in line, you're talking with different people, hearing their stories and what they've done and just like how they're supporting the cause and talking about the schools and basically talking about like everything that sometimes you talk about in these spaces. Now I will say, if you guys could tell other people, I just don't think the Civil War talk is a good talk. Like, I know when I went to Wyndham, these reporters showed up from MSNBC, and they start interviewing people, and they find these Trump people like me that get near the camera, and they start talking about Civil War, and they're trying to get those sound bites. And I had my whole family in Wyndham. I had my 3 kids and everybody. But my youngest daughter walked up behind the camera and said something like "vote Trump" or something. I don't know what she said, but they had to. I mean, it's all out there, but it was a good time.
Well, they were interviewing people, and I think I threw the interviewer for a loop because I knew their agenda. It was CBS News, and I spoke with this reporter or whoever interviewer, and it was interesting because all the other people were interviewing with the backdrop, and what was interesting is the backdrop was blue. It wasn't red, it was blue, and it said Trump, 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 Trump all on it. And then they were came up to her. He was standing there, and I thought he was like part of the news crew. And I said, "What's going on?" And he goes, "I don't know. Don't look at me." And I said, "Well, what's going on? What are you doing?" He's all, "I'm security." I said, "Okay, tough guy. Well, I guess you're not the person I need to talk to." And I just stepped to the side of him and went right to the reporter. I went up to her. I said, "Hey, how's it going?" And she looked she looked at me up and down like I was like, "Why are you even talking to me?" And I said, "Hi, what's up? What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm interviewing people." And I go, "Well, I'm here. I'm ready for my interview." And she was like, "Okay." And I was like, "Well, let's do this." And she's like, "All right." And so finally I got through the bull crap and them acting like I'm crazy for coming. I mean, it was weird. It was like everybody else got to come up to you and talk to you, and they looked at me like I was some kind of threat, and they treated me like one. And then she goes, "Well, let's move the camera and point it this way." So she goes, "Come over here." So she moves the camera from the screen the backdrop, and she points it at the crowd instead of at the banner. And she goes, "Stand here." She had the backdrop of the crowd and the stage on me. And then she asked me, all these different questions, but they were all loaded questions. And she expected me to do exactly what you're saying. She expected me to do exactly, and I didn't because I knew it was a setup. So you're right. They are not the friends. CBS News is not a friend. They are the opposition.
Yep. Both of you great points, right? And obviously they're just looking to catch somebody so they can play the clip over and over and over and over and over. See, look at these guys. They're all insurrectionists that want to start a civil war and lump us all into one soundbite. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Andrew.
but real quick, Andrew, just real quick. So, but Andrew and Sean, so the CBS stuff and all that footage, it is reviewed by President Trump. So whatever I did say, they're required to turn over those tapes to President Trump. So I have a feeling that MAGA Mission was right there at the right time, and we'll probably get seen by him whether I met him or not. I was sitting right there in front, and if he saw me, he's going to recognize me from me sitting right in front of him and then being on camera. So I got a good feeling that he's going to review all that tape to make sure that CBS is not up to any bull crap. I'm sorry, Andrew, for jumping in. Just wanted you to know we're getting the message to Trump.
Well,
Yeah, no, no
I was gonna
problem.
say, Matt, I think it's gonna be hard to overlook an eagle that stands over 6 foot tall. So I'm sure he saw you.
I was just gonna say, when you come out, when you come into like at least the New Hampshire rallies, when you come up the highway, I forgot what highway. I think it was 94 or something, whatever, 95. You come off the highway and they set up all the Trump little real estate signs that are maybe 2-3 feet wide or whatever. The small ones, but there's a lot of them all the way down the side of the road. So I was coming off the highway and I was gonna do a live or I was gonna make a video or something, but I was like, I was just like, the windows. I'm trying to get situated. I missed it, kind of. But there was a trailer with there was a car in front of us with pulling a trailer made out of pressure treated wood with wood on it, and they pulled over right towards those signs, and like they were gonna like do something, and so I was driving, or no, I wasn't driving. My wife was driving, so we're driving away, and she goes, they just ran those signs over. That car just ran the Trump signs over. I'm like, no way. I was just gonna film and I missed it. Because that would have, if you film somebody running over Trump signs, number one, that's gonna go viral, right? It's gonna be something. But so she's like, they just ran. Well, long story short, I made her turn all the way around. We went all the way down to like the venue. I made her turn around, go all the way back because I was like, if there's run over Trump signs here, like I'm at least gonna get a picture of it or something. But it turns out, I don't know, that you had your co-captain with you, and it turns out no, there was no sign of Trump signs that are wrote over. So I didn't miss the shot of a lifetime. Somebody run over Trump signs, but you got to go back and investigate. You can't just say shit without knowing it. I guess, right, Sean? Well, that's good, Maggot. It's good that you went down there and got in there and experienced that. That's awesome. Great. Good.
I couldn't
Congratulations.
miss it. I couldn't miss it, bro. I mean, it was my only shot. Like, I'm not going to just be able to pack up at any other. It was like perfect. I'm not going to be able to go anywhere else. I didn't have the time. And it was just, it lined up. And I'm like, he's right there in Nevada. I just got to get in. I just got to get up there. It's only a few hours away. Yeah, it was worth it. The hotel was excellent. Everything was just top notch. I got upgraded for free. Everything was divine. The patriotism, the love, everything. It was just the perfect trip.
Yeah, everybody's got to just pitch in and go to the functions and fill the seat up, and it's fun and it's usually free. The cost to get into the venue is a lot of times free. I don't know about your situation, but it's basically free. But the Oyster River Bridge, there was one woman that was probably like 3 miles, 4 miles out, from the Whitmore Center, but they had Trump flags going out there. It was cool when you come in, you see somebody, stand with some Trump flags, United States flags, and that was a few miles away from everything. So, again, a good time, a very good time.
I
What's
see
going?
Tessa.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's going on, Tessa?
Hey, I got a phone call, so I had to drop out. I wanted to change the subject. Well, not really change the subject about something. I wanted to share something with you guys. So you guys know I'm in healthcare. I don't talk about it much, but I was resulting someone's labs today, and you guys know, I think I've told you that I got the first 2 vaccines under Trump, brought in by the military on ice and all that. And it's a long story. I wish I hadn't, blah, blah, blah. But we had a guy, 91 years old, and I don't have to look very hard. You don't have to look up anything. You can just look over to the right on a patient's account. 9 COVID vaccines, you guys. 9. That is crazy. Like, I didn't even know they could give that many. And, in animals, I used to be a vet tech before I went to people, and animals can get cancer from over vaccination. It's like a scientific fact. And then here you got people getting 9 COVID vaccines, just COVID. That doesn't count flu and all the other stuff these old people get. But can you believe that? 9.
Well, to your point, people have been claiming that there's allegations, allegedly the jab can lead to cancer. And what you just cited, it's like, well, how many of you had? Did you have one? Did you have four? This person had 9, and you're like, well, no crap, Sherlock. What were you thinking? Have some common sense.
I
Well,
do.
oh, sorry.
I was going to say, Tessa, real quick. I do think they have senior citizens absolutely convinced that this is a necessary regimen. My mom's on her 4th, and she's like, "Yeah." It's like, because I believe that if I get COVID, I will get less sick. I'll still get COVID, but I won't get COVID as bad as somebody else.
Yeah, and I got mine in the very, very, very beginning. I have elderly parents, and I've studied a lot of immunology, and I got it basically to protect my parents. And I didn't get it for like a year and a half, and then I ended up getting a variant, which I also think was introduced. I think it was all introduced into the population. But to your point about cancer, Matt, something that I know is fact is I believe that the bioweapon COVID, the actual virus, and the vaccine, they both act the same way in that I think they reactivate cancer, and I feel that way because I know a lot of people who did not get the vaccine but got COVID, and one of them is my sister. So she got COVID, and then 2 months later had a recurrence of her breast cancer within just like a month or two after having COVID. So I think that they do the same thing in a lot of ways. I don't think people will agree with me on that, but just based on what I've seen, in person, I think it's a concern. I think that what they released to us has done more damage, and I think that includes heart stuff. I don't think it's just isolated to vaccines. I think it's both because I see it in both, but it's not a popular opinion to have. But I definitely have seen both do it. So.
Well, Tessa, imagine your doctor, right? You go in to get some tests and they say, look, I got some bad news and I got some good news. And you're like, which one do you want first? Well, hit me with the bad news, Doc. The bad news is we've discovered cancer, and I'm really sorry. But the good news is you won't be as sick if you get COVID. So there's a silver lining there.
Right. And a lot of those people that got the vaccine, all these people that got 9 vaccines probably had COVID like 3 or 4 times by now. So just imagine how much of that is in your body at that point, just like all of it. I mean, it's just so unhealthy.
What are your thoughts, Andrew?
Well, what they've done is besides the fact of the virus and it came from China and Trump was kicking China's ass and China released this and then the manipulation on the elections, um, the the Democrats basically used the vaccination and the mandates to purge the system. So it was the great purge. I mean, the teachers in the schools, healthcare, and the rest. So in the military, they purged out a lot of people. Now some people are getting pay still. Either way, they purged it. They got rid of the people. We all know the people that didn't want to take the vaccine. The libertarians, the MAGA people. Some people forced you, like you and others. And you had to make a decision between your career and taking the experimental vaccine. And I hope it all works out. But it was a purge, and now we're dealing with the repercussions of the purge. We're not left behind with the Democrat levels, but you can see that they've gotten a little bit more powerful in a lot of the institutions. I mean, they've taken out, let's just say that 10% of the people left because they didn't want to take the vaccine. Well, that's 10%, of the of the like political landscape within these institutions like the Massachusetts State Police and all the institutions. So it's all orchestrated. It's all orchestrated. The vaccine, the virus, who weaponized it the most? Every single person tried to monopolize benefits for themselves through the process, through this pandemic. Whether it was the guy on the side of the road trying to collect some sort of stimulus package, or businesses taking PPP, or people wanted to purge the workforce and the military, or the vaccine might be bad and there's an uptick in a whole bunch of cancers. Like, so much going on that it's really pretty hard, to digest everything. But one thing's for sure, we're 30 something trillion dollars in debt. They started printing money that through that whole process. The virus wasn't half as bad as they said, and the pharmaceutical companies were able to sell their vaccine on taxpayer dollars. Their biggest customer was the taxpayers. They didn't have to advertise for their vaccine like they normally have to, and they raked in billions and billions of dollars of profit. If you look at the Moderna chart and NVAX, I mean, $10 to 400. Same with Moderna. Pfizer didn't go up as that much, but it was, there you go, and then you have Mayor Wu in Boston that made you take the vaccine to go eat in a restaurant, and a service member coming off that doesn't have his papers because the service members had to take the vaccine anyways, but they don't have their like card on them or whatever it was, their vaccine passport. They couldn't even go and have a cheeseburger in Boston with the racist Mayor Wu down in Boston. So it's very convoluted, but I'll land it there. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Go ahead, Tessa.
I was just going to say that, Andrew, actually, as much as I don't want to say this, I'm a pretty extreme MAGA person. Like, I follow Q even. But I chose to get the vaccine. And I tell you one of the reasons, if you really want to know, which you probably don't. But I talked it over with my husband. We're both in healthcare, and he's a paramedic. And I said, you know what? They're going to mandate this vaccine, and I would rather get it from the military under Trump than get it from a Biden administration. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but 20 million vaccines went missing right after Biden got, quote, inaugurated. And that's when I started noticing, because I see everything, because I work in lab and I release results, and I know exactly what people have and what vaccines they've had. And we started noticing a lot more problems after he lost those vaccines. And then, the boosters and the boosters and the boosters, however many there are.
Well, I wanted to kind of introduce another thought process here, and we can maybe deep dive it. I know Sean's got some stuff going on, but I had an interesting conversation with a fellow employee today who is fully on board with the charges, or whatever, the allegations of violation of the 14th Amendment by President or Donald J. Trump. And I was talking to him, and I said, why didn't they just go with sedition? Why insurrection? And we kind of deep dove it right there, and we kind of were looking at the terms and the words and everything. And I posted a thesis, and a thesis is an idea. It's just an opinion. I'm kind of analyzing the verbiage, the words, and I came up with this thought process of, how can you look at what occurred as an orchestrated, coordinated, attack or attempt to overthrow? Because when you think about it, people came from all over the United States. Okay, like I'm not calling you, and you're not calling me, and we're not saying, yeah, we're going to get together and do this. And we don't have a leader. I mean, President Trump, he inspires people to show up. He never said to do something like what occurred. And throughout history, there's been protests, and protests are meant for the grievances of the citizens to voice their grievance, and to show that they are hurting, or that they're, displeased at something. And so you have all these disassociated people from all over the United States, no ability to really coordinate that many people and to direct them like an army or, like a well-trained militia. There was nobody that was armed. I mean, okay, Ashley Babbitt had a knife in her backpack where she couldn't even reach it, and it wasn't being brandished. It was probably a small pocket knife, but I really doubt it was a K-bar or something, military style. So my point is that when you have a bunch of citizens that come to unite and show their support for a something or a person, and they're all disassociated from each other, not coordinating with each other, not being contacted by President Trump directly, just there to see him, and then something eventually happens later on. I just don't see it meeting the terms of insurrection. And he staunchly argued, and his point was, well, he called Mike Pence and told him to hold up. And I said, okay, well, let me ask you another question. What about elections taking a really long time to decide, or to count the votes? And he goes, oh, that's been going on for a while. That's been going on for a long time. They're allowed to do that. And I said, okay, they're allowed to basically due process to make sure all the counts are correct and go over it, and it takes them a month or more to do it. Okay, so if we can allow them a month or so to do that, why can't we allow the executive, branch to say, maybe we should make sure, that everything's okay first? Why is the executive branch not allowed to do it? But and then his retort was, well, Congress and the vice president and Trump was trying to have Mike Pence do something, which is not his place to do. And we had all of these conversations. So I'm kind of opening up this concept. And then I eventually I said, well, why did they go for that charge? Why didn't they pick something like sedition? And he goes, well, I would prefer they picked a claim of rebellion. I'm going, no, it's not rebellion. It's not rebellion, and it's not insurrection. And so we went through the terms, and I wrote an opinion piece on it. I think a lot of people responded to it because it's not only is it in the news, but you got to really think about these definitions and terms and what they're trying to do. And what we whittled it down to was that insurrection was the one charge or the one allegation that would guaranteed if that sticks, it will remove him from being able to be on the ballot. So that is the we knew that was the answer, but I was kind of thinking, well, wait a minute, the terms of sedition are words to incite and insurrection to incite insurrection, so it covers it. That's why I was like, why wouldn't it have been smarter to start at sedition and have it go into something more like insurrection? Kind of, if you want to say insurrection alone, I don't think it's as all encompassing, and it's not a progressive allegation, if you understand what I'm saying. So I'm going to end. Andrew, why don't you jump in and give your thoughts?
Well, I watched Trump deliver the speech. I was right by the Washington Monument, and I was making videos, and the wind was blowing, and you seen 200,000, flags, and a half million people, whatever, sitting there. And Trump never said go overthrow the government. Trump never said go do an insurrection. Trump never said any of that. He used the word I don't. He used words that didn't mean go take over the Capitol. You know what I mean? And from what I know, things were already going down like at the Capitol. I wasn't, like I said, I was at his speech. At this time, there was already things going on at the Capitol, as far as I know. But I didn't go in the Capitol, obviously, being in jail. And like you guys know, the FBI, they did come interview me because somebody doxed me and said I was filming and making videos in the Capitol, because the FBI has a hotline, and you can call the hotline, and there you go. They're gonna come out, they're gonna explore, whatever they want, and that's what people kind of are up against as far as just getting doxxed. And it's not even doxxed. It goes beyond that. Dox is just exposing somebody. That's like swatting. That's swatting. When you call the police with false information and make things up, and then they have to act on that, that's a swatting event. And that's happening in a lot of places. But like I said, I witnessed Trump's speech, and then I left early to upload some videos at the hotel room, and then the whole freaking Capitol got stormed, and I went down on the outskirts and kind of like made some videos from the outside where you're supposed to, where you can go, but nonetheless, people use that. Um, it was Trump didn't do an insurrection. That's the bottom line. He put out a speech at whatever time saying return, stop doing what you're doing, whatever. We don't act like this. He did all the right moves. It's not an insurrection. He's not convicted of anything, of any crime whatsoever, and he shouldn't be, because if you read the speech, you'll know that's all there is. And everyone's scared to protest now or do whatever. It is a right to protest in a legal form. All those protests down in DC on the 6th and the night of the 5th and December 12th, I was there too. I was in the streets filming until the wee hours of the night. They had most of it blockaded. I seen Antifa barricaded in between police, and seen like MAGA going around. I seen hundreds of Proud Boys marching around corners with beatboxes and marching around, and it's quite a sight. Um, it was tumultuous. Listen, Trump did not induce a insurrection. Period. That's the bottom
Did
line.
the FBI take film footage from you? All your film footage? Did they sequester that?
No, because I don't have. I've never been. I've never been charged with any sort of crime because I didn't commit, number one, any crime. But it's just what it is. It's a way for the opposition in your own little town to say, oh, he was at January 6th, so oh, you want to fuck with us? Well, let's call the FBI and say they can say whatever they want, and the FBI will come out and they're gonna
So,
see
so
like.
to clarify, you never volunteered any film footage from January 6th to the FBI or any other three-letter organization. So, I hope you, tell the truth and only but the truth. So, help you God.
I posted all the footage that I had, but why would you
Okay,
be
so you
asking
put
me
it
that?
in public because there's sedition hunters, and I'm getting a feel for what you did with what you were doing. And if you posted it publicly, then it's public, But if you had that film footage and they took it from you without your will, because it's an investigation. When they come to you, it's an investigation. So I'm surprised they didn't ask for your film footage and documentation of your visit.
Well, I was able to point them towards a page that I was trying to start on Facebook. So, yeah, no, the thing is when they know where everyone's phone went anyway. That you know what I mean? Like everyone's phone in the whole freaking probably lower. I mean, people are on terrorist watch lists that weren't even going to the protests or going to Trump's speech or anything, that were just going to DC and they're flying there and they're on some sort of terrorist watch list. And they weren't even involved with anything. They're just flying there because apparently if you flew there, it's like a bigger deal than not. I don't understand it. Okay, but the thing is like you can't just take things from people that don't commit crimes. You know what I mean? You can't just go and number one, these FBI agents were respectable people in my view. They conducted a small investigation, and things were already debunked many times. Just because, like I said, they know where everyone's phone was. They have everyone that went in the Capitol is gonna have they're gonna probably eventually, even if they haven't caught them now, they might as well just turn, because they're gonna get caught like one way or another. They're gonna have to answer for going in there, and whether you agree with it or you don't, you know what I mean. um and that's just how things are rolling right now. But there
You're
there's
good.
there, I'll land it here, Maggot. There's millions of people that were there, or at least 8 million, that were there for a peaceful protest, that were in the vicinity, that were, filming and interviewing people and X, Y, and Z. Like, I mean, I was at 6 o'clock. I was sitting in front of the National Guard, pushing people back in front of the Capitol, on the backdrop of Fox News, like filming, recording, seeing what was going on and stuff like that. Trump did not commit an insurrection. Period.
Tessa, you were up, hon.
Andrew, you're right. The quote insurrection was happening while Trump was speaking, from what I've seen. And also, I mean, obviously they did all that and went after all the J6ers because they don't want us to protest and they don't want us to have a voice and they want to tamper down on any, dissent. So they're just making it look a lot worse than it was. And also, were there any weapons besides bats being handed out by Antifa? I mean, were there any weapons in that insurrection? Quote, insurrection?
Well, I was filming a guy right in front of the National Guard when they, probably around 6:15 or so, when all the media was right in front of the Capitol. And I guess the guy was armed because I thought he was actually fed because he had an earpiece and stuff like that. But it turns out that he was, doing whatever for his cause. And yeah, he had a pistol on him because he got it at about 10 minutes after I left, just to go back to the hotel room. They arrested this guy. I just found out this like a few months ago, actually, because he got sentenced to 7 years in jail. He had a pistol on his hip, and one of the officers in the police line, along with the National Guard that was there, because the National Guard had the center area to the little lake there off of the Capitol. The National Guard was pushing there, and then on the outside of the National Guard, kind of outside of the cameras for all the major networks, there was basically a lot of just Capitol Hill police, not even in riot gear, that were keeping track of the outskirts of that whole big police line. But this individual was still, protesting with a loudspeaker and doing the things, that he was doing. And then they, I wasn't there. Like I said, I left just prior to this, or else I would have had it on video. But they arrested him because he had a sidearm on him, apparently. And then he was in the Capitol earlier. So, I mean, I guess a few people did have guns on them. I mean, but it wasn't like people were brandishing guns or anything. The facts are the facts, that was just one person. So I don't like, I never witnessed the whole like thing initially, what happened down there, like the cops firing the stun grenades and stuff and all that. Like, that was already like totally old. Like, it was over by the time I even got down in that area. So I didn't see all that, which I'm sure many did, but I wasn't. I didn't witness.
I don't know, Andrew, how many spaces I've been in or I've even heard people speak on maybe news channels or people speaking on this, saying there were no weapons on, no guns, no weapons on anybody, and now you introduce this new thing that I haven't heard. So, it'd be interesting to look at some of the police records if public, or something to that effect. I'm sure all of it's still because of everything in Capitol Police, but I haven't heard anybody say what you just said.
Well, that's nobody brandished a weapon, but
no, I heard that there were literally no guns, no weapons. That the protesters didn't. I mean, I know we've heard about bad actors handing out weapons, of like, say, baseball bats, but no firearms. As far as I know, I haven't heard anything about actual firearms being there. So it'd be interesting to deep dive that, find it out if that's. You're saying it. I'm not discrediting it. I'm just saying I haven't heard anybody say that.
I didn't break that news story. I mean, it's just a story that's out there. It's like a reported story, a major like news story.
I might have heard of it now that I think about it, but I just haven't heard it. I could have sworn everybody said there were no weapons there like that, no guns. But maybe I didn't remember hearing it. I don't know. I just don't recall that being said very often at all. But maybe I forgot.
like I said, it's like an NBC freaking story. Like if you believe it, whatever. I just paid attention to that particular story because I was sitting right next to the guy, and I was filming him. And he had an earpiece in, and I noticed he had an earpiece in, and I was thinking he was like a Fed or something, but apparently he got 7 years in jail. So
Tessa, jump in.
Did you guys ever see the video of people handing out bats in the Capitol in from ceiling tiles? Did you guys ever see that? I cannot find it. I think it got deleted. I had it on Twitter as it was happening. I saved the video and then I tried to go back and find it and it got deleted. Have you guys seen that video with the bats?
I did not see that. No.
Yeah, I wish I could find it. I really do, because it's pretty obvious that they were in the Capitol with bats doing whatever Antifa does. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, I'm sure there was actually some bad actors there for sure, but I want to bring it to what Matt's point was, right? Is an insurrection. Obviously, they went to that real quick, starting with Nancy Pelosi, then the media. They all started just parroting like insurrection, insurrection, insurrection. There's a reason for that. We think we know the reason that they did that, right? But could you actually prove an insurrection? And then Tessa, I could pull it up. You sent me that thing from the lieutenant governor in, I believe, Texas. You could also use the 14th Amendment to say that Biden is aiding and abetting or providing comfort to the enemy, which would also fall under the 14th Amendment, and you could remove him from the ballot in Texas.
Well, I think California, and this was anticipated in yesterday's discussion about this, that this is like testing the waters for this and trying to get the ball rolling, like, you know, in all of the different states. And I think California's come out and they're following suit. And they're skinny.
Right, that's the thing. But if you also read the 14th, Section 3, and then into 4, right, it says that who gets to decide what an insurrection is, right? It's not a bunch of judges in a state. It is Congress by a vote of 2/3 of both Congress and the Senate.
hey, I will say that. Am I speaking over somebody? I'm sorry if maybe you guys.
No, you're good, I think.
Good.
Okay, I just couldn't see Heather's mic there. I will say that Trump did mention in New Hampshire the truck drivers, and he did. He didn't go into big detail, but somebody's getting in his ear because he's like he did mention the truck drivers and all the deliveries, everything.
Yeah, he was mentioning the transportation industry, a lot of those things. So I can tell you, I know he's aware, but the problem that I think that in the trucker community is that when he was in office, he didn't address the issue. Now, you know, just like with the vaccine and Fauci and all the people that were in there advising him and all these things, my answer to that is that I believe that he had a lot of stuff on his plate, border security, to the COVID issue, to a lot of things that came at him. So I mean, was he distracted? Was he misled to believe that it was something that could wait? You know, I don't know, but I think now more than ever he is fully aware, and it is in his ear because he has changed some of his talking points. To your point,
And Chris Christie is not a fat pig.
I still want to get those sumo suits and have like some Krispy Kremes in the middle of like or an arena, and like have two sumo suit people fight over the Krispy Kreme donuts. I still think that would be really epic.
Whatever you do, do not call Chris Christie a fat pig. Don't do it.
I would never call Chris Christie a big fat pig. Never. That would be hate speech.
Well, Terry is here. He finally jumped in instead of armchair quarterbacking. Terry, how many people have you arrested for insurrection?
To date, 0. But I just wanted to say that Chris Christie, and I've said this before publicly, he's got a position with Donald Trump. He can be the official taste tester, and there's a lot of good prongs to that. He lives off the government teat. He's eating the finest food, and he's still in the middle of all the political players, you know? The thing that concerns me about this whole thing going on with Colorado and this alleged insurrection allegation is, let's say if I'm on patrol and I get dispatched to an aggravated robbery that just occurred, and I'm running code, and I get there and I'm talking to the victim, if they can still talk, and an EMS rolls up, and she's been hit in the head. She was robbed. She comes out of the store and she was hitting the guy tries to get her purse, and she doesn't relinquish the purse, and he pulls out a gun and hits her in the head and says, "Bitch, give me the purse or I'm going to shoot your ass." And takes the purse and proceeds to run. So I'm asking questions like, okay, I'm sorry, I just got a pop up. I'm asking questions like age, sex, gender, height, clothing description, all that stuff, and which direction did he run, and what building did he run behind. And then I put out that description. And then a unit comes up and sees someone that matches that description, possibly, and stops them and finds her purse and a gun that matches the description. So you've got all the elements of a crime right there. You've got a victim and you've got an offender. So the victim files the charge. It goes to the system. They're in front of the judge for an arraignment, a pretrial, trial, and plea deal, or whatever happens. What concerns me about this is if all the elements for this very serious crime they're accusing him of existed in the moment, then why didn't the DOJ move right then? Why did they wait until 2 months after he announced his intent to run for president to have Jack Smith start looking into it? See, that's the thing that's really seedy about this whole thing, is they waited so long to bring what allegedly to be a very serious crime. And what I remember from that day, and there was a lot of people there. I've seen the footage, the aerial footage. I mean, there were as many people probably as when he was inaugurated. What I remember is him telling them to march patriotically and peacefully, or protest patriotically and peacefully. I remember him sending a text that guy with the buffalo horns got on the bullhorn and read, "Complied with law enforcement, go home." That doesn't sound like the elements of insurrection to me. So the thing that really stinks the most to me about this, especially Colorado doing this before he's even received all of his due process, he hasn't even been convicted yet of anything. And if he is, he has the right to an appeal process. So that disgusts me, that they're telling their constituents in Colorado, anybody that's a registered voter, that he is not eligible as a candidate to be voted for, yay or nay. And I'll stop there.
All great points. Sometimes you got to have a Skinny come in and just kind of elevate the conversation. Skinny, why don't you jump in here?
You're an insurrection, dude. This is an insurrection. Shame on all of you. All you have to do is say it.
We need to be deprogrammed, Skinny. We really need deprogramming.
Insurrection of my opinion. Blah. Come on, man. This is getting to the point of absurdity that cannot be ignored, right? I hear tell, and I have zero sauce, but it sounds like a couple other states might be jumping on board. So Trump won all 50, so we know that part from a few years back. And, maybe we can get all 50 states to take the leading, I hate saying the word, Republican candidate, and making sure he doesn't get on the ballot. That seems about on par for the new normal. Yeah. Absurdity rules the day, but that's what it's going to take to wake everybody up. This is pure freaking insanity. And Crisco Christie, if there's sumo suits involved, they should definitely be smeared in Crisco, sponsored by Pfizer, for that fight, because nobody will ever be able to get their mitts, their greasy meat hooks on that little tiny donut. That stinks, by the way. Krispy Kreme is not a donut, which is an insurrection.
Just to qualify, they'll be fighting for a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts in the middle of a ring, so it will be quite messy, I'm sure.
Hi, by the way. Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. I am
Hi.
now being ruled by Workday, so I am paid by the minute. By the minute. By the minute, people.
They got meters on you? They got a meter on you
No, but
that's like hooked to your back or something?
What they forgot to account for was the 1 to 25 minutes it takes to log in every day and hit the button that says you're on the clock. These people are insane, dude. That the WEF AI cuck bot is now running the cuck factory.
Oh, Jesus.
Hilarious.
Albert, help me out here, man.
Yeah, fun things first in the serious part. One, you're right. We won't call Chris Christie a big fat pig. He just has a big fat pig head, and the rest of him Shamu the beachless whale. I don't like him that one little bit. And Krispy Kreme, I don't know why. Military love giving Krispy Kreme in the freaking desert, and just like the Coke cans, they leave them out and they turn into poison and rot out the metal. So pass, no thank you.
Albert.
Yeah.
Gosh darn, I forgot. I'll think of it again, dude. It was going to be part of your funny intro. Sorry.
Okay.
You're
as far as the firearms in J6, just cursory research. One from the Dallas Morning News. There was a Texas man who got 7 years in prison because he charged the staff brandishing a handgun, and then there was another gentleman who also got 7 years. And his name is Christopher Alberts, and the first gentleman is Guy Reffitt. Those are two gentlemen charged with firearms, according to the charges, according to the news articles.
Well, okay. Well, we got Terry here. So brandishing, they could do a brandishing charge. Are they going to up that with an insurrection charge? Follow that up with an insurrection charge, Terry?
Can you rephrase the question?
The gentleman from Texas, sorry.
He was brandishing on Capitol grounds. Would that fall under the level of insurrection?
No, Reffitt was charged with that. The other guy, Christopher Alberts, happened to have one in the carry, which means on his side. So two different versions, but both got 7.
I believe all the penalties are double on that ground.
All right. So the first one came from Dallas Times, and the second one comes NBC, just for citing purposes.
Well, DC's a gun-free zone, so yeah, if he was armed, they would have popped him for that. Whether it was elevated because of this event, I'm not sure, but for sure for the possession.
Yeah,
which I don't agree with, because that makes no sense. Because I remember during the Tea riots, during the Obama years, there were plenty of gatherings that were peaceable with firearms, with long guns that were not loaded, but were there in the hundreds, and no charges.
Right, I understand what you're saying. Like when I travel, I have concealed carry. When I hit Illinois, I always put it in the trunk and unloaded and magazine in the front. But I hear what you're saying. But the way I understand DC, that area is all supposed to be gun-free zone. I've heard of marches where people were armed, like on the Virginia side, and they were about to cross a bridge, or the Capitol Police said, if you cross the bridge, we're going to put you in jail for being in possession of a firearm. So anyway, I'll just in there. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, meaning that I take it somewhere it should go.
Yeah, no, I get it. That makes perfect sense. Let me jump back to Skinny.
I still forgot my quips. It had something to do with an insurrection, but whatever. You can only say that word so many times before it's over. And MAGA, dude, I am so sorry. I took a hiatus from the Zeet, and if I would have known that you were that close to me, I would have been there in 2 seconds, at least to take you out to dinner, man.
Oh, dude, you would have enjoyed dinner with us. We were at the Atlantis in the upper lounge, and we were eating fine dining, bro. And you would have been welcome at the table for sure. It would have been so great to see you.
Well, that seafood up there in that skywalk is actually the. I never had the sushi, but the pan roast I had there a couple of years back was maybe the best freaking pan roast I've ever had in Nevada. The only better seafood, we got to go over to Monterey or whatever and get it fresh. But I really do apologize, dude. I just couldn't. There was some stuff going on personally. The work thing is. I can't even describe to you folks what it's like to have a give and take with a company for 24 years and have them do this to us, where there is no give and take anymore. They're going to take you by the minute. So guess what? My minutes aren't now. They don't go back and forth. There is no give and take relationship here anymore. And they're literally looking for a 1 minute reason to suspend or fire long-term employees who've proven themselves. So, yeah, dude, I'm really sorry I missed you.
You never know. We might get another chance. It's a small world, man. So keep the faith, and we'll keep in contact. And I'll probably just go up there. I might even go up to hang out with the Republican Party up there in Nevada. There might be some work going on up there that I might drive up just to attend, and then we will have that dinner.
Part of that rumor mill that I heard today is that it's mainly Washoe County where you were over the weekend, and then Clark County, which is Las Vegas. We're a 2-town state now, and unfortunately, we know which way the big cities go, and there's rumors already flying around because of that judgment in Colorado that those two counties may be trying the same stunt. We'll see.
Well, if you take politics out of it, I understand their cities, right? But Reno's fun. I just want to remind you all to take your coat. it's not it's not the South Desert you think of. It's the frozen desert.
Well, yeah, you got to remember, I'm in Incline right now, right this very minute, and the sun's out up here, but we haven't seen the sun down in the valley I live in 2 days, which is, as the crow flies, like 3 or 4 miles away. We get that inversion going, and all that cold air just sucks into the valleys. So it's much, much more mild than it was last year. So far, thank God.
Well, the Skinny, I think Jason Corsi, he posted something where the snow was falling after we left. But on my way back, there was this huge storm. And when I say huge, this thing was monstrous. And it was putting off a massive light show of lightning. And it was lighting up and flashing all across the horizon. And it was just this huge lightning show on my way home. And I pass a wind farm on that trip, and my thought process is maybe the storm was kind of taking advantage of lightning rods or something, and using that as the conduit to hit the ground. And that's why there was so much lightning there. But it was massive, and I heard it was shaking people's houses. It wasn't close enough to me, but man, it was a beautiful show.
MAGA, weather related, of course. So my aunt and uncle both live in San Juan Capistrano, so way south of you, right? But they're from the Dyer, Indiana area, Northwest Indiana, Gary, basically. Just think of Gary. And so the Midwest has massive, massive thunderstorms, just the way it works. They flew back, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. They were doing some stuff with us. And we were hanging out. We had a thunderstorm, and we were standing in my mom and dad's garage. And they were both just looking in awe because they haven't seen a thunderstorm like that in 40 or 50 years, ever since they moved to SoCal. And they're like, dude, it just doesn't happen in Southern California. Of course, you'll get a little rain every once in a while, but you don't get these thunder, earth shaking thunderstorms that come through like you do in the Midwest. And they were just in absolute awe.
Hey, Sean, I will say that upstate New York gets some wacky thunderstorms. They come over through those mountains and through the Adirondacks, and they come down in the hot, humid summer days. And man, I remember one time up in those lakes up there, microburst came down and totally just pushed trees down and stuff. It was nuts, but they get some massive thunderstorms up there.
Oh, yeah, it's different. Obviously, the truckers who drive all over the country, they get to see it, but you just don't. It's interesting for West Coasters to see some of that stuff because it's just not a normal weather phenomenon. Go ahead, Skinny.
Yeah, just preliminary. I'm going to lose signal probably 3 times on this little drive, but I noticed when I jumped in here, there's a brand new option that wasn't there last night when I was in Frog Space, and there's a listen anonymously button now when I jumped in the space. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, we heard about that earlier. It's really interesting because there was ways to do it before, but apparently now you can do it on the app. So we were just guessing that the FBI and CIA said, "Hey, look, Elon, man, we're spending too much time logging in with our actual CIA accounts. This ain't working for us. We need a backdoor." Go ahead, MAGA.
Well, I just wanted to turn everybody's attention to Votify Now is in the room, and it's also on the magamission.org website. It's a tool that you can use towards working towards election integrity and on-site monitoring. If you see something, you can actually pin it on a map and let people know what's going on. But Votify Now has been working really hard to bring election integrity and bring this tool to the people so that we can oversee what's going on from different places. But I don't want to overspeak or speak incorrectly, and I just want to welcome Votify Now into the room. If you haven't downloaded the app, please do that.
Hey,
Go ahead,
I
Votify.
appreciate that, Sean. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'll be brief.
That was me. That was me,
Oh,
MAGA.
okay, thank you, MAGA. Yeah, guys, I'll be brief. I don't know if anybody's heard of the app. It's been live for about 4 years. We were pretty heavily involved in the 2022 elections and in the 2023 elections as well, although, of course, that wasn't a full cycle. What the app does, I'll be real brief. Anybody could go to votifynow.org. That's sort of the central hub where there's explainer videos, news by Gateway Pundit. Epic Times has done a thing on us. John Solomon's Just the News, Washington Times. So we've been well vetted and endorsed by a lot of the big names. But also, I encourage anybody to watch the explainer video that automatically plays when you go to votifynow.org, and it's VOTIFYNOW. It's live on the App Store and Google Play for Android. Again, we've been out for a few years. Here's the 2 things that it does, and I'll land my plane quickly. It lets anybody report an incident, something they're seeing. It's real simple. You just type up a brief description, and enter a brief description. Take a photo or video, hit the submit button. It automatically geo-targets where you're at. That info then comes into our servers and gets secured. I can't go into detail on how we vet for false flags and bots and things, but it uses a series of filters, algorithm, AI, and different things to make sure that it's not someone putting like their butt cheek. Sorry, I had a call coming in right then. But here's the interesting thing that happens with this incident. Unlike any other, you guys have probably heard, you could report something on a 800 number or a website. Here's the magic with the app and the APIs allow it to do. When someone reports something and that vetting process, that's all happening in seconds. That incident that someone's reporting then goes live on our map instantly. So not only can people report an incident, you can also go to the view incident section on the map and on the app, and open it up, and it'll pop up a map of the country. It'll show where you're standing, and it'll show the incidents happening around you. Literally on election day, you'll see these incidents popping up in real time. They pop up in the form of a dot, similar to like Zillow. When you go on Zillow, you'll see an area, and it'll have a bunch of dots. You click the dot, and the house opens up. Very similar to that. We color code these dots. Red is the most serious incident. White is the most benign. There's basically 4 colors, and you could see what's happening in real time. So if on election day you open the app up and you see all kinds of red dots in the area where you're planning on voting, you might want to click on a couple of those incidents and read what's happening, and maybe make a decision to go to another voting location. I know in some of the rural areas it's a little more limited, but for the most part across the country, you can vote in more than one place. That's one thing it does. Also, if someone's seeing like mail-in ballots piling up in their mailbox or in their condominium lobby, whatever, you can report this there. And what we do is we're sending these reports to city officials, to journalists, to law enforcement. Obviously not certain law enforcement with 3-letter adjectives, usually like sheriffs. But what it's basically doing is making everything transparent. So that's these dots happening in real time so that people could see what's going on in their community. That's one functionality. The other functionality is all the incidents that people are reporting, they all get accumulated into spreadsheets, and we formalize these by areas, by counties, and these spreadsheets of the full incident is going to the candidates, independent journalists, so that you don't have to wait anymore until the days and weeks later of investigating what happened with an election. Candidates could see what's happening in these elections literally on the spot. So voters could see it within minutes. Candidates and their teams could get the spreadsheets. Every hour we send teams a new one. This happens automatically. People sign up in advance for the report. Everything's free. We don't take a dime in donations, unlike a lot of these fucking election integrity grifters, which I'm not going to name names, but boy, do they really upset me. I understand like candidates and some people have to accept donations, but there's a lot of people out there saying, hey man, if you want your elections to be clean, you got to donate to us. That really gets us upset. So I built this thing out of my pocket, on my dime, excuse me. I've been building big systems for years. And that's basically how it operates. If anybody wants more info, they could DM me, or they could go to the website and reach out to us. And we ask everybody to please spread the word, because we don't have big pockets, deep pockets, do lots of advertising and marketing. It's pretty much, me on Spaces and then me relying on, I do some public events. I just did an event with Sebastian Gorka, who was really gracious and said some great things. And I do travel around a bit, but, we're kind of the little redheaded stepchild. We don't get the big, turning point things. Those are kind of reserved for the big names. But this app has been around for a few years, and so far we're the only election integrity tool that's been used in both the Kerry Lake lawsuit, and Abe Hamadad has got a new lawsuit going on in Arizona. We've been officially hired by their team for our data. So we've pretty much been used in every lawsuit since 2022. So anyways, that's my thing, and appreciate everybody taking the time. If anyone wants any additional info, just reach out to me. And thanks.
I needed to respond to that, please. So I just want to let you know that I went to the Reno, Nevada Trump rally. What I can tell you is this: tonight I'm going to be on the Chuck Nagel show. There's 300,000 plus viewers live. I'm going to make sure to speak of Votify Now and some other organizations and what we're doing. And just like, we're so in alignment with a lot of the things you're doing and what you said. And, it's been a pleasure to support you. And we 100% support you because your mission is so important. There's nothing more important. There's a lot of things that are important, but election integrity is vitally important for this country and to save the nation. So, and to have election integrity and make sure that voters are not disenfranchised. And it's always good to have something like that, like an Overwatch.
Hey, I appreciate that, but I got to ask you a real quick question. Do you know the name Robert Beatles? He's in Reno, and he made like PillNet, I think. Are you familiar with that name? Rob?
No, but I'd like to connect with
Yeah.
them. The thing, yeah, our mission is to support
Let
people
me tell
like
you where you
you
can
and
find
people
it.
like them.
You guys all have heard of Precinct Strategy, right? So there's a
Yes.
precinctstrategy.com website, and the Beatles, PillNet, and Precinct Strategy are on the top of, PillNet and Votify Now are on the top of precinctstrategy.com. It's basically managed by Dan Schultz. There's a bunch of precinct strategies, but I call Dan Schultz kind of the godfather of the precinct strategy movement. He's probably, he pretty much wrote the book, and he actually did write a book. And there is nothing about precinct strategy in different states that he can't tell you, like the rules and bylaws of all these, and that's a great movement too, you guys. So you could find when they agreed to put up a Votify Now button on the top of precinct strategy, we felt like we were, officially blessed. So yeah, but anyways, that's great. I definitely appreciate you spreading the word. And everything's free. Again, all we do is ask people to please use it and spread the word. The more people, the more stuff that's reported, the more we get a shot at making the vote count live, and also the more evidence we could present when these people are going to be fighting for their lives. We all know what's going to happen in 2024. It is going to be fucking lawsuit season, because we know the bad guys have nothing left but cheating. So we are trying to make sure that everybody reports as much evidence as possible. And again, we automatically archive and get these lawyers and these election campaigns. We get this evidence to them on the hour, so that let me leave you guys with one last analogy. I use the analogy of a bank heist in the middle of the night. Think of if there's bank robbers breaking in, they're going to get away with a lot more money if they're able to break into the bank. No one's bothering them in the middle of the night. It's not till the next morning. There's an investigation. Well, imagine if the minute they break in, there's spotlights on them and sirens. They're going to definitely get away with much less nefarious activity if there's just instant blasting of everybody aware of what's going on around them. So we can't stop all the cheating, but we could certainly diminish it by just us as a community being on top of it. And anybody could go check out the app right now. Right now we have the 2022 map up, just because we're not officially in 2024 season, but you could go to the app right now and look at the 2022 elections, and you'll see the country come up, and you'll see all the dots across the country, and you could click a dot and read the incidents or watch the video. So anyways, I appreciate it, you guys. Appreciate the time.
Can I ask you a huge favor? Albert, please pause. Can I ask you a huge favor, boss?
Yeah.
Can you connect me with Dan from Strategy? Yeah,
100%.
Precinct Strategy, because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm talking with Christian Lamar, and we've been talking about joining precinct committeeman seats wherever we can, and we've been pumping that big time. So I'd like to talk to Precinct Strategy and Dan and get them on the site. I actually have a page ready for them to go, and
Absolutely.
it
Yeah,
would be great.
I talk to Dan Schultz probably 3 times a day. I drive him nuts. But the other three amigo is Robert Beatles, the guy that created that PillNet. He's a big, strong conservative in Reno, so that's why I thought maybe you heard the name. But absolutely, DM me, and yeah, please get the word out. And it's Votify Now, or they can go to the website, or they can just go to the app stores and download the app. And anybody could reach out to me. I'm available 24/7. I've been working about 60 hours a week since 2019 on this. And shit, I'm almost 5 years in at this point.
Well, brother, it's all about Albert. Please, Paul. It's all about the what we're trying to do on the internet, right? Getting seen and breaking through to the other side, and it takes everybody getting on board and doing this. And you've been a really great partner, and I just want to thank you for being with MAGA Mission and allowing us to promote you. I mean, some people might not want to, but so far our mission is so focus that a lot of people see the value. When we first started, we didn't have any candidates. Now we have 23, and we just added Trent Lacey, we added Michael Hoover, we added Janice Clark. Wait, I get all the names mixed up. Anyways, we're adding people every day, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to be making sure they reach out and contact you if you'd like that,
Yeah.
or what you if you
By the
want.
way,
I know you're looking for candidates.
right, we are 100%. By the way, there is nothing better than these candidates telling their potential constituents to download the app. I'll never forget during the 2022, Mark Fincham, who was up for Secretary of State, would mention the app everywhere he would go, and he ended up getting us thousands of Arizona voters signed up for the app, which was why we had such a huge presence during the big debacle of the 2022 clusterfuck that happened in Arizona. That's why, of course, we had so much evidence. Now, of course, the fact of what happens with Kari Lake on her lawsuits, and even with Abe's current one, we can't control anything. We're not lawyers. All we could do is hand them very, very organized evidence where we keep chain of custody, and that's what Votify now does. So absolutely, and I'll make that introduction for you. No problem.
Oh, dude, that is so pivotal, and we're with you 100% all the way through this and into the future. Albert, you wanted to say something while Votify now is this organization is very limited on time, so let's do it, and then he can do his thing.
Yeah, no, I've been trying to contact with him for a while now because I had some actual questions about this Votify. What is intrinsic about it that if the voting is secretive, how is it that the Votify actually works that can be used as evidence?
First off, feel free to DM me rather than us burn everybody's time with specific questions. We have nothing to do, by the way, with any government officials. What we do is people report nefarious or suspicious stuff going on, and then we display it, and we're able to share it in real time with everybody instantly. So this has a way, again, I use the analogy of what the bank robbers rob in a bank. If you're shining spotlights on them, they're not going to be robbing the bank and getting away with as much money. Also, for the reports that we give the evidence of suspicious activity so that these candidates don't have to wait weeks or months to file a lawsuit. If they were robbed of an election, they could do it the very next morning. But again, Albert, feel free to send me any questions or reach out through DM so that we're not burning everybody's time. But I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, just follow me back so I can DM you because I just tried and got to do the whole verify thing.
Absolutely, Albert, you got it.
Go ahead, Texas.
I missed the conversation, man. I lost service back there. We're talking to Scott Pressler about going to the trucking show in February. But we are interested in trying to turn out the votes, and we have the Florida Truck Show in February and the MATS in Missouri in March. So if you can get us some kind of information, something we can use to promote what y'all are doing and get the word out, then we'd be happy to do it.
Well, the unifying umbrella, everybody, is magamission.org, and then that leads all these people to these tools. That's why the tools are there. That's why Votify Now is there. That's why you can register to vote there. But definitely, we'll get something to you that you can help promote Votify Now at these events, because there's thousands of people
By the
there.
way, who was that was asking that question? I'll follow them as well.
Texas. He's Texas.
Yeah, Texas. I will. I don't know if I see Texas on here, but oh yeah, I do.
Texas trucker, brother.
Texas,
yeah,
I'll follow you.
We're looking at some Matt. There'll be independents there. There'll be libertarians there, and probably some centrist Democrats. So we need, I think if we hit them up with the MAGA, it might turn them off. We want to get everybody to vote we can, because we got to get these people out of here. I mean, not saying that we're not going to be directing people to MAGA mission, but we want to cover as large a group as we can, so.
Yeah, but by the way, I will tell you guys that even though I appreciate MAGA Mission putting me on their thing, Votify Now is definitely a bipartisan app. We tell everybody to report. I don't give a shit if they're a liberal, a Democrat, a independent, anybody that sees something, we want them to report it. I will tell you guys, to this day, 4 years now, we haven't had one liberal or Democrat report one fucking thing, but we certainly extend them the offer because Votify Now's credibility, it stays much higher if we're willing to accept nefarious, suspicious incidents from everybody. So I understand what you're saying, Texas, and yeah, again, we haven't had anybody on the left embrace us yet, but trust me, they will. We know that we all remember Hillary talking about stolen elections. We all remember Stacey Abrams, how many times she's complained about stolen elections. So the left definitely has the ability to complain about election integrity. It's just right now we know that it's taboo for them to do that, and we all know why. So, anyways, by the way, you guys, I reached out to you, Texas, and Albert, I'm about to send you a message too.
Yeah, election integrity is not a partisan issue, okay? This affects all parties. And the term MAGA, I know what's associated with it. I knew when I picked up the banner, and I went down on this road and started this mission. But the point, Texas, I get what you're saying, and I understand. I've heard it from Mike. And the thing is that it's about making an alliance with God again, and everybody wants the country to be prosperous. I know that we have America First candidates on there. It just so happens most of the America First candidates that we work with are Republicans. But we're backing anybody that's trying to keep the country safe, secure, and secure our elections. So it's like Votify Now just said. He hasn't seen anybody come forward and really do anything from the other party, right? So, if you think people are going to be turned away by wanting to make America great again, no matter what side of the aisle they're on, well, then they're not in it for the right reasons, I think. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I know it's associated with one man, but it's a spirit thing. It's the spirit of making America great. It's beyond one person. It's in all of us. It's in our hearts.
Hey, brother, you ain't got to tell me. We've talked about this many times, many times. You know my stance and who I support and what I support. But I'm in it like this. There's people that don't like it just because it's Trump. That maybe we can sway over to this side by getting them to actually look at it versus, them just throwing it down because that's Trump. Get it out of here. You know what I mean? Believe me, I'm with you 100%, brother. You know that.
Well, we're with Noah, and we've been supporting you staunchly, so we're not going to stop. Nothing's going to change that. We're 100% with you. But if you could do me a favor, Texas, let Mike know that I got an interview with Chuck Nagel tonight at 9:00 Eastern. So I'm going to be signing off of here and going over there with Trent Lisey, and we're going to be working with these candidates as much as we can on podcasts where there's more viewers than we have right here in this room. And just so Votify Now knows, this recording I'm going to grab this recording because everything we just talked about is so vitally important. I'm going to make sure that this gets out on YouTube and Rumble, and I'll make sure that it's titled Votify Now Speaks. And we'll make sure that algorithm keeps going. It's all about the words you use, people. That's what gets you out there in the Google search results, okay? Because the web crawlers are looking every day for words like NOAA or TNOA or NOOA or National Owners Operators Association. They're looking for these words, and it's working because I can tell you when you search for Votify Now, we're on the first page of results. That means that if somebody searches for us, guess what? Votify Now might show up too. So it all is helping. We're all helping each other on this mission, and it's all for the love of country. And what Votify Now is speaking of, he's not asking for any money to do this. I've been doing this out of my own pocket because this is my donation to the people in the country. I cannot, if I donated money to an organization, poof, there it goes. It's gone. There's my shot. I might as well put something in, just like Votify Now is doing. He's devoting to something greater than just one single donation or several little donations. The money he's putting into this organization is gonna have dividends. beyond just a single donation. And that right there, he understands, and that's what I felt, and that's why I'm doing this. So we're so aligned, it's insane. It's just so great.
Well, Matt, I'm telling you right now, brother, we're all going places in 2024, bro, and it's all because of what we've been doing right here. Um, you know, it's amazing. We it's an amazing thing, man, and y'all don't know how much we appreciate y'all. And like you said, dude, we're not going anywhere. We're here for the duration. You know, plain and simple. Uh, but yeah, so like I said, don't take what I said wrong. I just think if it was up there by itself, maybe somebody might see this and not go for it, but go for that. So the important thing, like we all go back to and we all know, is what's best for the country, and you know, keep pushing what we're doing, bro. I'll let Mike know. Would you tell Chuck Nagel we send our regards, and if he wants to ever have us on again, I mean, I know he gave us the keys and said we was welcome anytime. But if he wants an update, just tell him to holler at you, and we can go in there and give him an update of what we got going and what we've done. I'm down for it. Just let me know, brother.
Well, you know, if Vodafy Down wants to come on, I might be able to get you to slip on a spot today. And if you want, I could send you the link, and maybe you could slip in, because we're going to have at least a good 50 minutes to talk. It's going to be mostly about what's going on. Trent Lacey's got to say after his visit to Mar-a-Lago and what he's doing. But I'm going to say the words. I'm going to try and get everybody in there that I can in the short amount of time that I can. It's mostly Trent's night. But Chuck knows about you guys, and you're America's favorite trucker, Texas. Don't even forget that, because whenever I talk about you or introduce you, you know that on the Chuck Nagel show, I say America's favorite trucker, Texas trucker, is in the house.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to do it tonight, Matt. Dude, I've been on a humdinger today. I've been driving since 6 o'clock this morning. I got to pick up over here in Collins.
Hey, by the way, I'm free. If you give me like an hour heads up, I can jump on something. I don't know if you guys are on a call or what you're on, but let me know, and you can DM me, MAGA.
Yeah, you got it. Let's do it. I'll send you the link, and you can slip in, you can listen, and I'll make sure Chuck knows you're in the house, and we'll get a chance to give you a spot. Again, 300,000 people. That's not something to shake a stick at, brother. That's something significant. So I think it'll bring dividends to you.
Perfect.
Hey, Matt, I'm sorry my headset cut out, brother. Let me call Mike. Maybe Mike could come in. I have got to sleep tonight. I've got to be in Houston, Texas at 10 o'clock in the morning. If I miss either one of these loads I'm on, I won't be home for Christmas. So I've got to make this delivery at 10 a.m. and I'm over in Cosmos.
Yeah, regrettably, there's not going to be enough time tonight, because we're going to have, if we have Vodafy now there and we have Trent Lacey, we're going to burn through that hour. You know how it goes. It's going to go really fast. So we'll see if maybe we can slip you in on the 28th. We'll see if we can make that work, because I know that slot, Christian Lamar might be able to do it, might not. And then once Vodafy Now gets a spot with Chuck Nagel, he can keep in contact with him and reach out and say, hey, Chuck, can I slip in on another night here and there? And it'll open up a whole other avenue for him to do public speaking. So that's where it's really paying off.
Meg, I got to bounce out of here. I appreciate you guys, though. I really do. I appreciate it. I got to bounce. I'm going over that J6 space that Dustin and Jen are doing. Texas, keep on riding, and the loads are going to get delivered, and the trucks are going to be fixed, and we're gonna keep this freaking country going. Trump's on it. We're gonna get him in there, and even if Trump doesn't get in there, we're still gonna fix it, because at the end of the day, we are the people that make this world go around. We are the people that drive the trucks. We are the people that do the plumbing, the electrical, the building, the everything. Although we are getting replaced here, but we're gonna keep it going. Thanks, guys. I'm gonna back out here. I'm going to that other space, and I appreciate everyone in the audience. Thank you.
Yeah, I need to go let Mike know because he'll be looking for it. Tell Dustin and Jen I said hello. They know me very well. Y'all have a good one. I'll probably be back, but I need to let Mike know. So
Yeah, if you get in there, Andrew, and you get a chance to speak, make sure you blow a kiss to Jennifer for me, or Jen for me. Thanks.
Wait. Do they know the theme song they're supposed to play for Jenny?
Well, I was looking forward to the song we were going to play for that I sent you. We
Yeah,
got that was a lot of
I
high energy there,
I
man.
have it, but listen, it's like that was an hour ago. Like time just goes so fast on these spaces, right? Yeah, I had it loaded. I was thinking, we just obviously we just lost a few people going to other places. Maybe we should do a Christmas song called "Biden Did You Know," and then we can go from there.
Biden, did you know that your policies would drive us underwater? Biden, did you know that your policies would trans our sons and daughters? Did you know that your policies will punish what is true? The church that you subscribe to does not subscribe to you. Biden, did you know? Biden, did you know that your baby boy made shady deals in Ukraine? Biden, did you know that your baby boy loves Parmesan and cocaine? Did you know that you shouldn't touch these women like you do? When you sniff that little girl's hair, it's borderline me too. The war will cease, the debt increase, and the dead will vote again. Vote again. The crime will leap, the dumb will speak, while we say come on Biden, did you know that your policies would bring about inflation? Biden, did you know that your policies would one day rule the nation? Did you know that your policies make Harriet's reign seem bland? One day you'll have to answer to the great I
That was a good one. Yeah, of course, Meg. I've still got all the other stuff dialed up in the background. But I just felt it was a good time to switch over and do some of that. What we got. God, there's so many things going on today, right? Geez, you got Sarah Huckabee again saying hell no to CCP. Hulk Hogan was saved and baptized. I posted a video below. That's a really, really cool story. Please take a look at it. It's a video of him getting submerged, being born again, Tucker Carlson got delivered I don't know what it is. It looks like a 3-ton nicotine mint pouches delivered via helicopter. That was pretty dang cool. And then let me get into this one. Hold on. So the University of Minnesota, they have a bunch of professors. Melanie Yazzie is one of them. She explains basically the war that's all out against the West, not just America, but the West. Let me play this one for you guys, and you guys can hear it for yourself exactly what they're trying to do to us. And you're hearing people on social media saying, like, oh, land back, like genocide. Does this mean genocide? No. But land back is going to happen. That's going to happen, the indigenous perspective in Turtle Island, and how we understand what is also happening in Palestine. And what we really want you to take away tonight is, as Anthony said, we're in the belly of the beast, right? We're all indigenous people who come from nations that are under occupation by the United States government. And of course, the U.S. bankrolls the Israeli occupation of Palestinian land. They're one and the same, really. And so it's our responsibility as people who are within the United States to go as hard as possible to decolonize this place, because that will reverberate all across the world, because the U.S. is the greatest predator empire that has ever existed, right? And so we want U.S. out of everywhere. We want U.S. out of Palestine. We want U.S. out of Turtle Island, right? And that the goal is to dismantle the settler project that is the United States. And you're hearing people on social media saying, obviously, I couldn't get more of that clip, but MAGA. So obviously, they want to decolonize. We've already talked about this. The United States, they want to unsettle, desettle. They want us to go back to wherever we came from. I don't know where we came from. And how far back do we go to do that? Very interesting, right? But is part of that movement maybe this it's never going to happen if we have a orange man in charge. It's never going to happen. So we have to, by force of what do they call it, legalese? We have to, by force, take out the orange man so that we can turn America into a third world country. Any thoughts on that? Mike Arnie?
I thought she was saying that they want America to get out of the other countries and go back to America.
No, it looks like more, and I can play it again. It looks like more they want them out of the West, period. They want them to go basically go back where they came from.
Well, that's kind of hard because I'm half German and half Irish, so I'm split. That'd be a little difficult.
Well, that's the point, right? So, German, Dutch, but we fled, and we didn't come over in 1776. We came over in the 1900s. Fled Germany through Russia. I know, Russia bad. But Russia provided refugee, and we were able to get, get over to America and Canada both. My family is in both countries. From Germany through Russia. Britain didn't help, so tell me that.
Yeah, my family came over before 1776.
Well, Terry's been here since before probably the Macedonians, right? So, what do you think, Terry?
Oh yeah, I've been around for a while. Yeah, centuries. What she said was that America was equally as bad of an actor as Israel because we bankroll Israel, is what she was trying to say, and have subsequently colonized Israel. And she wants that all unraveled, right? And she wants Palestine to, let me just say this. They hate America, but they don't hate our money. So is she willing to also say that we cut off all aid to Palestine if we're such a bad actor? with Israel. I mean, no more money for Palestine, all that money we send for schools, and food, and humanitarian aid, all that stuff. I'd like to ask her that.
That's a great question, and I don't know how they would feel about that. They'd probably be pretty upset, I would think. Go ahead, Jamie.
Me? Is that me?
Texas.
Yeah, I found out. I traced my people back mid 1600s. Newfoundland or New something up there on the coast, man, is where they come across at. Let me ask y'all something, Matt or Sean. I went back and I finally found that space that old Fuller blocked me for, where he pretty much put his foot in his mouth. There's about a 20-minute section out of that 3 hours and 58-minute space, or whatever it is, 48-minute space, where me and him's going back and forth. Is there any way you can clip that big of a section out of something and just save that part of it out of one of these spaces?
If it's still on Twitter, absolutely, you can just screen record that section.
Yeah, I don't know how to screen record, but yeah, I've got the link. It's still on Twitter.
I can help you through that, at least. For iPhone, if it's Android, it would have to be MAGA. But if it's still on Twitter, yeah, there's a way to totally grab that.
I need to grab that. It's proof. You know what I mean? It's but yeah, it's I do have an Android, so I need to figure that out so I can get that out of there and keep it before they realize what they've done, because something's big's coming right around here in the first of the year.
Mike Arney, what you thinking? Mike Arney?
I forgot to hit unmute. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yep, gotcha.
Good. I'm thinking that I'd be more than happy to pull all the money back to the U.S. and all the people back to the U.S. I mean, I know that that's half of, I mean, that's not what she would want, is, but get everybody out of all the countries, other countries, and get them back here in the U.S. The troops, get them here in the U.S. and the money over here in the U.S. and just let them take care of each other, and we take care of ourselves. We've taken care of enough people, and we need to take care of ourselves. And then the countries that actually do love us and want help and need help, and if we can afford it, and the people that want to give freely, we'll take care of. But we won't force Americans to support other countries. It'll be donation based, I think, because whenever it comes to being forced to pay for another country, their well-being, then whenever we're not being taken care of, then that's not a good thing.
Hey, Mike, let me ask you this, because I've been on this for a couple of years, and obviously there's people that don't agree with me. I think at this point the United States has done its fair share of goodwill, right? And should go ahead and just leave a lot of organizations, so the UN, NATO, the WEF, and say, you know what, if you want to do this nonsense, fund it yourself. If you need help, call me. I'm here, bro. You got my number. So what are your thoughts on that, Mike?
I'm with you 100%. I think we should get out of them 100%. I mean, I think that they should be dissolved completely, really. But if anything, we should not be part of it. and they shouldn't even be on our soil. But at least get us out of them. I'm with you 100%. I've been that way for probably since 2012. I felt that way.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I'm saying years, not just a couple. Yeah, there's no reason that we need to fund all this insanity anymore. And if there's really true allies, which you brought up, right? Really true allies that actually need some help. Obviously, the American people are a generous and loving people who would totally be willing to do that, including with their own boots on the ground if necessary. But to just fund war after war after war all over the world, it is just dumb, and we need to stop it. I want it to stop, and I think it can. I really think Trump is kind of looking at dissolving our relationships with those people very soon. I really would hope that's the truth. Let me go to Texas. See what you got to say.
Yeah, Sean. Hey, I'm not against helping our partners and them. I feel the same way, but I think we should tell them, hey, buddy, yeah, we can help you out. We can give you a loan, and you can pay it back at the entrance. Americans are paying over here on their loans, and yeah, that's all good. But let me ask you something. I seen something today, and I've been working, so I didn't really get to read it. That said that they slipped into the defense bill that the president couldn't remove us out of them. Is that correct?
I'll have to look further into that. That bill was nasty. So there's a bunch in the NDAA, and then obviously Mike Johnson's getting attacked by not coming out hard enough against it. They also went ahead with FISA so that Americans can be spied on. There's a lot of nasty stuff in there, and it goes till, I believe, March. And then they'll take another look at it again. But it's
Well, what I seen today was definitely. I read the headline. I read a little bit of it that they passed in that bill, hidden in that bill, that only the Congress or the Senate could pull us out of NATO.
I think you're correct. I saw something to that, but I can't verify that for you today. I will look further into it. I mean, it was a 3,000 page bill again. Of course, that's what they do, right? They bury everything. So yeah, I think you're right. I do. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is the case, that it's got to be like a 2/3, same as war. No president is allowed to put us into war. It's got to be like a majority, a certain majority to get us into war, and same with getting us out of the UN and the WHO and all those other agencies that we're in. I think you're 100% right, Texas.
Well, do you guys think? I already have an opinion for him, but do you guys think that's obviously preemptive because they believe that no matter what they're doing, Trump is coming back and Trump will remove us from all of these organizations that just are a leech to our military and our finances?
Honestly, I think if Trump has his way, and I'm hoping that's the case, I think that would probably be one of the first things he does is remove us from all these very sort of leechy organizations that are just kind of feeding off of us, and yet not really contributing anything back to us as a society as a whole, you know. But that's of course just my personal opinion on that. Also, hi Sean, good to see you.
Hey, Trad, I'm so glad you could join us. I was so glad you sent me some messages today and said, hey, I'm going to be there. Man, so cool. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's always awesome to be here, you know?
Go ahead, Mike.
Each one of those organizations just invade our Um, shoot, it's on the tip of my tongue, but um, basically our freedom. Um, I can't think of the word right now.
They're
I
sucking
gotta,
on the fruits of our liberties, is what they're doing.
yeah, basically, it's something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's it's more, it's like a bigger word, but like our kind of like the EU with England, and when they got out of there, now they're in charge of their own country. But that that's what they're
Are you?
doing.
Let me just ask, and I don't know if this is the correct word. Are you looking for the word colonization?
No, not colonization. It was on the tip of my tongue. It's just this migraine I've been fighting for days is um, messing with me. I'll think of it later, and I'll
Well, okay, and
spit it out.
obviously it's not that word. The reason I asked was it just made me think of, right, like if that was a way for us to get our tentacles into everywhere in the World War II era, and we've never left. Um, so when you talk about the youths, right, as they call them, the youth, the young, the Gen Z, when they look at colonizers, they would look at the United States being completely guilty because we fund basically 90% of the UN and NATO.
I think it's sovereignty. That's it. Our sovereignty, because because
You're saying that? Oh wait, I wanna be clear though. So is our sovereignty in jeopardy because of being in these organizations? Is that what you,
they
or is
they
it the
can
other?
be
Is it
like,
the other countries?
I think our sovereignty is like, just think of like the rules that, like if they, like the WHO, the rules that they trying to pass, our medical sovereignty, and then some of the weapons rules that they've been trying to pass with the UN, trying to pass um, those kind of sovereignties that would basically overwrite our Second Amendment laws. That's the kind of what I'm talking about. We need to get away from that because that's leaning towards one world government. We do not want that at all. We want our own sovereignty.
I think I'm tracking. That makes sense. Perfect. So WHO, obviously WEF, those things. Obviously, just we need to yeet ourselves. That's what the kids say, right? Yeet. We need to
Yeah,
yeet
it's
ourselves from
yeet.
that.
You go yeet.
Out of that, and then following that, we need to yeet ourselves from NATO and then the United Nations, period, and just do America first. Doesn't mean we're not going to help people. It doesn't, but it will be on a case by case basis, is what I'm looking at.
Well, see, the thing is, fundamentally speaking, our nation was founded on Christian, Judeo-Christian principles, and part of those principles is, helping out those in need, the widow, the orphan, things like that. So it is in our character to help others, but our helping others should never supersede the care of our own people, and nowhere in those belief structure does it say that that is what we're supposed to do. It even says in there that we're supposed to care for our home, care for our family, and then from the abundance of what we have, we care for others.
Yep. I'm totally on your side. There's a story. I'm not going to bring up the audio clip because the audio is awful, but I posted it below the Marine Training Center in Chicago was just recently turned into a center for illegals. So they just said, "Hey, American Marines, go find somewhere else to live. We're gonna use this whole complex to house illegals. They broke the law. They got here, right? And now we're gonna give them free housing, free food, free cell phones, free medical care, and at least $2,500 a month cash." Yeah, like all the insanity just doesn't stop. It blows my mind every single day. I follow Bill Melugent's good, but Anthony Aguilera is even better. He does a lot of lives from the border. If you could find his account, it's Anthony Aguilera. I do post about him a lot, so you should be able to find it from my account. It is insane the amount of illegals coming over. And then Texas and I have been talking for months now about just literally shutting down the ports of entry, the trains, the trucks, everything. And then all of a sudden, Texas and I, Tuesday, I think we were talking, Ted Cruz started crying because Abbott was going to go ahead and shut down the trains. I know it's not happening fast enough, but what the hell's wrong with Ted Cruz, Jamie?
I believe he's a rhino. I don't like him. I used to admire the man, but after what I've seen and been paying attention and become awoke to him, I don't trust the fucker. Oh, pardon my French, y'all. I forgot we was on the drive. But also, man, I've done some digging into Lance Gooden, who is my representative. And I wasn't impressed what I found there either. I called Paul and asked him if he knew, and I sent him over to review it too, and he's going to get back with me, but I ain't seeing nothing there that don't scream rhino. He voted nay on a bill to stop the gas price gouging. He voted for that huge, monstrous spending bill here a couple years ago, and the rest of it looks like about party line. Found out that he is a insurance broker, and looking at his donors, I'm not impressed with that either. So we may have to primary the fool, man. That's what we're looking at. I talked to Paul about it. He's supposed to get back with me.
Man, Paul, what an amazing soldier. I mean, for Texas, right? For Mega Mission, for Texas,
Oh,
for
absolutely.
NOAA. What amazing. Just amazing.
Hey, Sean, real quick, I'm going to have to politely bow out for a little bit. We're working on dinner over here.
Oh,
doing
wait.
some chicken
I
Alfredo.
wanted to ask you a question before you bowed out. Have you
Yes,
seen...
absolutely. Well, I'll be back a little later, but you can ask me the question now.
Okay, so have you seen this? So the back and forth between Matt and I can't remember the chick's name about so there's this video out where this liberal chick finds a traditional man, an alpha male. He pays for dinner, then they go out for drinks. He pays for drinks, and he literally hands her an Amex and says, "Hey, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Buy us whatever. Just get us our next round of drinks." And she's just freaking out. So, but the question is that I gotta remember the name of the chick, Megyn Kelly. It was Megyn.
Yeah, Megyn Kelly had a full-blown meltdown about it.
Right. And I'm really perplexed at why she would do that. Why is she now a rhino? Is she she's a feminist? Like,
honestly, I have no freaking clue what's going on through her head. Because I'll be honest with you, I saw the video, and I was both laughing and applauding because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh, thank God, this girl is waking up to the reality of having a potential mate, potential partner that is not only a good provider, but steps into that traditional role of, hey, I'm the man here, so I need you to be the woman in this situation. And the woman in this situation is going to indulge in polite conversation, enjoy my company, be sweet, be enjoyable to be around in general. And at the end of the night is going to go, okay, yes, I would like to see you again, or no, I don't think we have enough in common, but it was really nice to meet you. And she was just stunned by just the level of just like absolute, and I'll say it right this, it was man energy. She could not handle the man energy. And it's just like she stated in the video, it woke up some feral woman. And honestly, I think the best way it was described was somebody described it as she reset to factory default. That's what happened. She reset to factory default. All the feminism crap flew right out the window. And she was like, yep, nope, that's what I want. I mean, she even said at the end of the video, I'm thinking I need to move out of East LA and get away from all these leftist snowflakes. And I was like, yes, girl, yes, find it, chase that energy, chase it. So yes, I honestly, when I saw Megan losing her mind about it, I'm like, really? Is this what we're wanting to teach our girls now? That wanting that, having that drive to chase that is a bad thing? I think more girls need to be open to the idea of, well, yes, if career is something you're wanting, that's fine, but it's not mandatory, because it's not. It really isn't. I know plenty of women that live perfectly happy lives being moms, wives, caregivers, all that, and they live in absolute bliss and fulfillment. And granted, I know there are some women that would not be their bliss and fulfillment, and that's fine. That's them, but that's not the norm. So I think we need to come back to the reality that it is in our genetics as women to want to be protected and provided for and loved on and given that place where we can nest, we can build a family, we can build a home. And I think that's really the narrative we need to be encouraging now, and not this toxic thinking of, you can be, you can be the man in your relationship, you can go and you can freeze your eggs, and later on down the road you can have kids later on down the road, and then years later they go and they unfreeze their eggs, and none of them survived. You have now lost your opportunity to have children because you didn't choose to have them while you were still young enough to have them. And no, I was not one of those women that bought into the egg freezing thing. I thought it was stupid the day I heard about it, but I'm going off on a tangent now, so I'll go ahead and land it here.
Well, obviously, I asked you the question for a reason. Everyone's seen the video, of course, right? But more importantly was this thing. Matt Walsh gets a lot of crap, right? For a lot of reasons from people. There's been people in this space that just don't like him because of his views on transgender issues. But it was interesting that Megyn Kelly, right, who used to be a long time ago, it seems like, God, it goes so fast, a darling of the right, is coming out for feminism and fighting Matt Walsh on doing a Twitter battle. And I thought that's what really was more interesting about this story than the liberal chick who found a alpha male and goes, holy crap, all of a sudden I'm getting the tinglies. Like this, everything's right about this. I thought the more interesting story was the battle between Walsh and Kelly.
Yeah, no, and I could see your views. And here's the thing, I'm not sure what's going on with Kelly. I'm not in her head. I'm not. I have my own thoughts, my own views, and things like that. I'm honestly thinking, yeah, she's heading a bit into that rhino territory, quite a bit. I'm not pleased to see it, but honestly, it's to the point now where I honestly kind of wash my hands of sort of how her views on things now. If she's wanting to go that direction, let it be to her own demise. I'm certainly not going to, to approve of it, and I'm certainly not going to buy into it. So.
Yep. All right, let me switch real quick. So let's go back to 1995. Just give me 2 seconds.
But yeah, I'll be back in probably another half an hour. I just got to go check in with hubby. We're making chicken Alfredo tonight. So yummy, yummy.
Sounds good. Let me go back to 1995. I'm going to rewind you. We're going to reset. So, no, I am not bringing you the Super Bowl shuffle from the Chicago Bears. I'm bringing you Bill Clinton.
All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace, as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
So, Albert, let me ask you this: when did the Democrats change their policy there? It would have been Obama then, or was Bill Clinton just full of crap and letting it happen totally under his watch and saying one thing, doing the other?
Were you just asking me?
Yes, please.
All right. I'm going to need a minute. I'm on the phone trying to get the J6 guitarist, the captain from the Air Force, on the phone. So I need a few minutes.
Awesome. No worries. Mike, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I'm wondering when that happened, because I thought that they just love that. I mean, love that stuff happening.
Yeah, here's the thing, Mike, though, so did the Democrat Party, maybe, let me put it a different way, did they go like super far left after Bill Clinton? Is that what happened? Or, because I thought it was before, and I thought Bill just kind of was always a centrist talking point. He made it look that way. And then as you move into Obama, right, obviously had a pretty lefty Bushes in the mix too, right? And Carter, I mean, it was all awful, but like when you talk about immigration, they were always, hey, we need to limit this. We absolutely, now they're just like, oh, come flood the gates. Does that make more sense? What I'm talking about, Mike?
Yeah, what Democrat ran before Clinton? I was in, was it Mondale?
Against, are you talking about, that would have been Bush 41, are you talking about? Or, wait, no, wait. Wait, that's before that.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, because now we're talking like my just getting out of high school years, and because I'm Gen Xer, so I'm trying to think what Democrat was before that, because the last Democrat president before Clinton would have been Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, and so I was just trying to figure out who ran before that. Would have been Mondale that I can remember, and Farrar or whatever, or the woman. But Jimmy Carter, all I can remember of him is that, Iran, as soon as he didn't become president and Ronald Reagan got sworn in, we got our hostages back. So I just can't remember much about the Democrats before old Slick Willie and him playing his saxophone.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. What I'm looking for, though, is you remember Carter at least a little bit, right? So what I'm looking for is, do you remember? So they were still strong on border control, and I don't know. Like I'm trying to identify a point where that changed, whether it was vocally or through policy. And I don't know if it was Carter or Bill. Might have been Bill, but it was definitely Obama for sure. I'm just trying to identify a point in time, a reference point, a year.
I think it was towards the end of Bill. I think it started changing with Bill on his way out.
Terry, do you have any recollection?
Well, I got to tell you, Sean, when you played that tape, it really warmed my heart. Boy, I was smooth, wasn't I? I was smooth the way I delivered that. I sounded like a hardcore Republican, didn't I? I probably was more than with my 3 strikes and you're out, man. Jaywalking, okay, that's 1. Criminal mischief, that's 2. Theft, that's 3. You're done, buddy. You're out of here. I'd say it started after me, for sure, during Obama. And thank you for your support.
Bill, I'm going to call you Bill for this segment. Me and my mom and I were talking about you on the ride home last night from the fundraising event that we went to. Man, it's just, here's the thing. I don't care what your politics are. It's just sad to see a former president in a state of array, and I'm really sorry that you're struggling, Bill, with your age. And I'm not trying to be an ageist, Bill, but you were so eloquent, you waxed so poetic when you were behind a microphone, and now you're really struggling. So I'm just again, my heart goes out to you, Bill.
Well, Sean, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that deep, heartfelt concern you have for me. And my mama, Virginia, God bless her, she raised me in a Baptist church. She wanted everything good for me as any mother would want for her child. And what did I do? I had to marry the devil. And what you're seeing right now is just a subtotal of all of the evil and bad that I've done. Look at me. Have you seen me in a while? My eyes are all hollowed in. I'm all thin. It looks like someone stuck a car wash vacuum cleaner in my rear and just sucked the life right out of me. That's what happens when you make bad choices. But I just want to say to the American people, I still love this country, even though I was a womanizer. And I'm thinking about switching over to the Republican Party, everything I'm seeing right now. So I just want to say God bless you and your mama, Sean.
Oh my God, sometimes it takes my breath away. It's so funny. Skinny, please jump in.
I had a quick question for Slick Willie there. Sorry, President Slick Willie. Did they teach the cigar tricks in Sunday school at that church?
That's a really good question. That's funny there. Everything's going good for me until I let my libido go crazy. And what happened there in the Oval Office. Ever since that incident, if I offer someone a cigar, it's got to be in a wrapper that no one will ever take a cigar from me unless they see it's never been used. It's got to be wrapped. I almost bankrupted the cigar industry. I hope that answers your question, Skinny. Thank you for being an American. God bless you.
It did. Thank you so much. And as Sean Spamity would say, you're a fine insurrectionist.
Well, like I said, I'm about ready to have a press conference. I'm thinking hard about it. I'm going to denounce the Democrat Party. I'm going to put my full support behind Donald Trump. And I might even file divorce on the old Wicked Witch. How about that? That'd be one hell of a press conference, wouldn't it? I think I'd probably end up on her list. Next thing you know, I'm getting a paddleboard delivered to me by Amazon. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I better rethink that.
Yeah, I'm not too sure that'd be a survivable event. You might just stay put on that one.
You know, Sean, I know we have fun with this, but, you know, he did balance the budget, like it or not. And, you know, he did some right things, but his downfall was he just couldn't keep it in his pants. You know what I mean? And the lying and being married to Hillary and her stealing everything out of the White House when they left. That was pretty absurd. And everything she's done. But
So, well, Terry, so right, I would have been a Ute when that was happening for his presidency, and I remember him being very centrist, even though he was a Democrat, right? And so that's where, you know, I know rhetorically throwing a question out there. When did the left go so to the far left that they decided open borders was a great idea? Because clearly Bill Clinton thought it was an awful idea, and he said absolutely not.
Well, not only Bill, a lot of Democrats supported his position. And when he cracked down on crime, you had Hillary calling people of color super predators. I mean, I don't know if he was just overcompensating because he had the Republicans pursuing him hard. They hated Bill Clinton. You know, Gingrich despised him, impeached him. He was one vote away in the Senate from being tossed out. I think maybe he overcompensated. I don't know. But I think that a lot of this open border stuff started with Barack Obama, who on January 20th of 2009, he said he was going to fundamentally change America. January 20th during his inauguration. So I think it started under Barack. I don't know.
Mike Carney, you want to jump in here?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was Barack exactly with that statement. He did fundamentally change America, and you're right. I remember when I was in high school, old William Jefferson Clinton. He did impress me while he was on MTV playing the saxophone and flirting with all them girls and everything. And he made me jealous. But what would have happened to him if he didn't lie in oath? I mean, would he have made it through his term? I mean, I don't know.
Well, here's the interesting thing, right? So, both Bill Clinton and Donald Trump, they used the term impeached, but it never really happened, right? So, what an impeachment does is it's a two-step process. I've gone through this before. I will go through it quickly again. So, Congress brings a impeachment, whether it's through an inquiry or whatnot, whatever the hell, MTG. Oh my God, it's about time for her to go too. They bring that up and they say, okay, we've decided we want to bring an impeachment trial against the president, and we're going to send it to the Senate. And what happens is they send two representatives, one from each party, to the Senate to plead the case. The Senate, both with Clinton and with Trump, laughed at it and said, "Ha, you brought absolutely no evidence," thrown out. So they were, even though you could use the term, they were impeached. They were never impeached. Second, the whole thing means impeach and remove. Third, once you remove them, now they're no longer president and you can file criminal charges against them. That didn't happen to either Trump or Clinton. So neither one of them were, if you want to use the term correctly, they were not impeached. Let me verify that. Skinny, I'm pretty sure I'm correct on that one. Skinny, you got me? All right, no.
Yeah, I got a 6-speed and a lot of brake lights. Sorry, dude. So Bill Clinton was impeached by Congress, and he was also the first president in a very, very, very long time to actually be censured, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. That's correct.
That was a crazy, crazy time. I was young at the time. I was still in high school, but at that time we also had Rush on TV, man, and they covered that extensively. I do remember that. I was 14 years old or something. And there was something else I was just going to say.
But you have to be impeached first.
Correct.
That moves it to the Senate. Then you have to be removed. And once you're removed, you lose your presidential immunity, which moves it over to now you can be charged criminally.
Correct. That moves it into the criminal realm.
And as far as I know, I believe there's only one, and I don't remember who it was, one president that's ever made it that far. Everyone else that has been quote unquote impeached by the Congress, it's never gone anywhere. There's nothing that happens. It's just it's a slap on the wrist. It makes you look bad. Let me see what Albert's got to think about this.
Hey, how you doing? I have Mega DJ and Steven Resnick, Air Force captain, also the famous guitarist who plays at the J6 Gulags for them, so they're not alone. So I'll let them speak. You guys are on. They can hear you.
Good evening, everybody. How are you? I'm
doing
Steve.
Good, man.
I took my guitar down to I call it the third stop to Steele, because I went to the first two down there. The first one I just went by myself, and the second one I'm like, I got to do more. So I took my guitar, ended up playing in front of the Trump Hotel. One of the guards said, "Hey, come over here and play at this entrance," and that was a hoot. And then the third one, I was like, okay, let's do it again. I wanted to go to a permitted rally that was on the other side, the east side of the Capitol. So by the time I got there, you couldn't get on the other side. It was all blocked. So I decided just to stay at Peace Circle and just jammed on my guitar, played the national anthem, Star Spangled Banner, I don't know, about 8 times, and just had a great time. But I could see up the hill, I could see them shooting up at shooting the charge at the crowd, the flashbangs, cheer gas, and yeah, you knew something bad, something big was happening that day. But where I was, it's great. No cops, no nothing, no violence. Just a lot of peace, a lot of love, just a lot of having fun, supporting each other. I let an older guy play my guitar, and he was super excited because I couldn't believe that he could actually do that and have to have that much fun. And it was over literally at 5. And what do? We turn around, we walk back, we get on our trains, back to New Jersey, and I help the elderly couple get back, and I get home, and that's pretty much it, man. I mean, what an insurrection, right? We just go home at 5. Like I call it a day. So that was my experience.
Wow. Well, thanks for hopping up and speaking. Thank you, Albert, for using your phone to do that.
Mm-hmm. But since then, I've been active. I've been a lot of it was against the mandates. I've done a lot of anti-mandate rallies. I teamed up with the drummer from Connecticut. He dresses up as a like a 1776 revolutionary, in the outfits, and he plays drums. He's got an old drum, and we just jam out. So we try to get together when we can, and we played on some street rallies in Connecticut, Yankee Doodle, we play stuff like that. And we did the anti-mandate. I did the anti-mandate rally in DC And I actually marched with, you won't believe this, but some 21-year-olds from West Virginia. They had never been to D.C. before, but we connected through a Jam for Freedom movement, which is international, against the mandates. So there's a lot going on in the world. So against the mandates, the musicians against the mandates, big in Australia, England, Central Europe. And so we have a network now. And I met these guys, and we talked about it, we planned it, and we marched to the anti-mandate rally. I don't know if you remember that one. It was in January a couple of years ago. And I think it turned the tide. That's the one where they had the buses, and they put Fauci on the bus. They put, I don't know who the FDA guy was back then, but, it's not the pharma. They're all inside the bus. And I think that helped turn the tide. But it's on my website. It's the magashred.com website, MAGA, SHRED.com if you want to check it out. But what I want to do is, like Alan said, I'm former Air Force. I started out straight in a military officer. And so I have that experience. But basically, I think this now is the time to serve. This is the time to rise up and actually use your training, use the skills you have, use the camaraderie, use the instant kind of teaming that you learned in the military. That's the whole point. That's what you do in the military. You could throw, 50 people randomly from any military branch in an auditorium, and instantly they can organize. Right? They'll understand who's the leader. How do you organize the group, and you become an effective team. So that's what we need to do now. We need to use all of that instinctive training and actually try to organize now and fight the tyranny that's right in our face. It's actually coming into our country, right in front of us. So use those skills. Think about what you learned, and use whatever you have. So I like to play music. I didn't play for 30 years. I put the guitar in the attic, but I figured, hey, I could do this. I did it in high school. This is my thing. I don't get nervous. I like to play, in front of crowds. So I say, okay, I'm going to focus on this. I'm not that much into speaking, but this is so find your strength, and then try to get out. You just get out and do one thing. And who's the guy, Veritas? The Veritas guy says, be brave, do something. If you do one thing, you're going to meet people, and then you're going to do one more thing, and then before you know it, you have a network, and you can actually be effective, as a team. So that's all I want to say. Just do something. Get off the couch, get out and hold a sign. Put a flag on a bridge. Go to DC. There's the Jan 6th anniversary coming up. Go down to that corner. At the jail, just go down there and shake. Give Ashley Babbitt's mom a hug. Just say, hey, we're thinking about you. We don't know what to do here. It's very scary. We can't believe all this is happening. But just say, we're here. We're going to be counted.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Skinny, I saw you had your hand up. Did you want to jump in?
Yeah, I don't want to detract from what he's talking about at all. He's right. And in my travels every day, I try and do my best to not lose my job and to drop information that people can readily access and start. I try to pique interest, it's tough. It's tough right now, and it's tough for everybody. But yeah, you got to do something. You got to talk to strangers. That's for sure. That's 100%. And we're all reaping the rewards of you and MAGA and other people who actually organized and put people together. That's key importance. The reason I put my hand up, and again, this is not to detract, but the border was just mentioned. And one thing that left me scratching my head over and over and over again, and it helped me to open my eyes as to what, unfortunately, we are dealing with from both sides. And that is, if 9/11 was such an existential threat, or terrorism was, who, Bushy boy, would have frickin' put the clamps on that border in 2 seconds that day. There was no waiting on that, and they never did it. So we've mentioned 3 names tonight, and they're all on the same frickin' team. That's all. There's one man for the job right now, as far as I see it.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I was just trying to identify through this group, right? I was trying to identify a group when it happened, but I totally believe the Bush family, McCain's, they were all involved. We've gone over this to some great extent. Yeah, go ahead, Skinny.
Yeah, and the other thing I was going to mention, and it did come, Clinton had no hand in it, but it did come during his lame duck, and that was an almost unanimous vote to repeal Glass-Steagall, which put us exactly in the fix that we got in the subprime mortgage lending, all this stuff, and the things we're seeing now, like with Silicon Valley Bank and a lot of our financial institutions now, is they've been no different than what triggered the Great Depression. They've been out there rolling the dice with our money, our actual money, outside of the house, because they don't have to follow the rules that kept us somewhat safe from 1933 until that lame duck in 99.
Well, you know what? Normally, Skinny, that was a good thing, right? We would think of lame ducks as at least they're not doing anything. But now they're not doing anything, and it's bad. And we've just gotten to a point of crisis at that, where the Republicans, God bless their souls. That's all I'm gonna say. They're doing nothing. They're doing absolutely nothing, and we need to fix that real quick with the next vote. All right, hold on. I'm fighting off a commercial, but I'm going to close this one out. I know Maga's got a podcast coming up, and we will do the drive again tomorrow on Friday. Just bear with me for. It says skip. Oh, I can skip. Oh, hold on. Stupid internet, right? This is ridiculous.
I have that T-shirt, dude. It's one of my favorite band
God.
T-shirts.
We lost it. It was a great intro. It was a little loud, but it was good. I guess I'm getting old if I'm saying it's too loud. Sorry, folks. It happens to all of us.
Guess who just got back today? Them wild-eyed boys that had been away haven't changed, had much to say. But man, I still think them cats are great. They were asking if you were around, how you was, where you could be found. Told them you were living downtown, driving all the old men crazy. The boys are back in town, boys are back in town. I said, the boys are back in town, the boys are back in town. The boys are back in town, boys are back in town, boys are back in town, boys are back in town. You know that chick that used to dance a lot? Every night she'd be on the floor shaking what she'd got. Man, when I tell you she was cool, she was red hot. I mean, she was steaming. And that time over at Johnny's place, well, this chick got up and she slapped Johnny's face. Man, we just fell about the place. If that chick don't wanna know, forget her. The boys are back in town, boys are back in town. I said, the boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. 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 Dino's bar as well. The drink will flow and blood will spill. And if the boys wanna fight, you better let them. That jukebox in the corner blasting out my favorite song. The nights are getting warmer, it won't be long. Won't be long till summer comes. Now that the boys are here again. The boys are back in town, boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town, boys are back in town. Spread the word. The boys are back in town, boys are back in town.
Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you again tomorrow night. Have a good evening.